Hello everybody and welcome to today's presentation, which is part of the Clare Local Development Company Job Seeker video series. Over the last number of presentations, we have been looking at employment as a progression pathway for individuals who are currently unemployed. Today and in the next video, we will look at self-employment as a progression option. My name is Samantha McCarthy and I work with the Social Inclusion and Community Activation Programme with Clare Local Development Company, and I will be taking you through this presentation and next week's presentation. So what will we cover over the next number of presentations? We will look at what it means to become self-employed. We will look at the types of business that someone may engage in when they're thinking of becoming self-employed. For the most part, if you are currently unemployed, you will look at a type of business known as a sole trader. Really importantly, we will be looking at the traits of an entrepreneur. Not just anybody can start up a business. It takes a certain type of person to start a business, and we'll have a look at some of those characteristics today. If you're currently unemployed and are thinking about becoming self-employed, there is a specific route that you need to take, and we'll start looking at that today also. Two of those routes could potentially be either the Department of Social Protection Short-Term Enterprise Allowance, otherwise known as the STEA, or the Back to Work Enterprise Allowance, also known as the BTWEA. And both of those schemes are supported by the Department of Social Protection and by Clare Local Development Company. So what does it mean to become self-employed? A self-employed individual does not work for a specific employer who pays them a consistent wage or salary. Self-employment individuals are independent contractors who earn an income by contracting their services with a trade or business directly. When you become self-employed, it means you are carrying on your own business rather than working for an employer. And there may be a number of things that you have to take into consideration. Just remember, working for yourself has many, many advantages. But you do have to think about some of the disadvantages before you start, and that's where CLDC and the Department of Social Protection can help you, as we will look at some of those things during the business plan stage, which we will look at in the next video. So as I said at the beginning, there are a number of different types of business that people may develop or register when they are starting out with their business. The first type of business, which is very much the one that we see the most, is a sole trader. A sole trader is an individual running a business. It is the simplest and cheapest type of business structure. If you operate your business as a sole trader, you are the only owner and you can control and manage the business. You are legally responsible for all aspects of the business. Another type of business is a business partnership. A business partnership is an arrangement between two or more people to oversee the business operations and share its profits and liabilities. In a general partnership company, all members share both profits and liabilities. So really the main difference between the sole trader and the partnership company, you're pretty much on your own running the business. As a sole trader, you are the one and only boss. Yet in a partnership company, there is more than you. It may be a friend, it may be a person that you went to college with and you want to set up a business. It could be an acquaintance, but both of you have mutually agreed that you want to come together to set up a business. And finally, the other type of business that we see is a limited company. And a limited company is a type of business structure where the company has a legal entity of its own. and separate from its owners, or otherwise known as shareholders, and it has a board of managers or directors. We spoke about the traits of an entrepreneur briefly at the very outset of this presentation. It takes a certain type of person to set up a business. It takes bravery, it takes courage, it takes an element of risk taking, and more often than not, it takes a great deal of patience and perseverance. You know the saying, if at first you don't succeed, try again. And oftentimes that is something that has to happen when you're going into business. It doesn't always work out the first time round, so you might need to go at the business in other ways. What you see in front of you are the most commonly recognized traits of an entrepreneur. So if you look at some of the world's most successful people, they all tend to have these types of characteristics. They manage risk, which means that they're not adverse to risk. They don't run away from risk, but they do manage it. You can't be silly in business either. You can't keep at something that isn't working. So you might have to take time out to think of different ways to do something if it's not working. You have to be really passionate and self-motivated to become a business person. You have to have drive. You have to love what you're doing and believe that the product or service that you're delivering can make a difference. You need really good organizational skills. Entrepreneurs or business owners tend to work long hours. In order to keep your quality of life, you have to have organizational skills where you can manage the tasks of the business. We've often spoke of networking within the social inclusion and community activation program. It's really important for business owners to be well connected. Indeed, it's really important for anyone who's job seeking to be well connected. Use your networking capabilities. If it's a thing that you think, well, I don't know anyone to talk to, just start by talking to one person, and that one person, if they can't help, may send you on the road to talk to another person, and so on. And within a short period of time, you may be speaking to 2, 3, 4, or 10 other people that can help you. So stay connected, make connections, and talk to people. Remember, we talked about being a risk manager? So you need to be adaptable and you need to be able to improvise. If it's not working, look at improvising, looking at change and seeing if you can do things differently. You need to be confident. You need to be disciplined and hardworking. You need to be self-analytical, which means you need to look at yourself and say, what can I do differently? Am I doing something wrong here? Can I do things better? Don't be self-critical. It's really important not to be self-critical. But when we say self-analytical, we're not talking about being over-judgmental or overthinking things. We're just asking you to look at how you're doing things right now and can they be done better. You need to know your product. Therefore, you need to be knowledgeable. You are going to be selling this product or service to others. So make sure you know what the product and service is. And finally, if it's not working as you want it to, well, then you need the ability to refocus. Stop, think, and look at how you can change things and refocus the direction of your business. So now you have decided, yes, I am that type of person who can set up a business. I am confident. I am a bit of a risk taker. I can refocus. I do know the product. I do know the service. And I'm really passionate about it. And I want other people to reap the benefits of my product or service. So now you start your journey of moving from being unemployed to self-employed. If you are currently on a job seeker's benefit payment or you are on a job seeker's allowance payment, you may be entitled to apply for the short-term enterprise allowance or the back-to-work enterprise allowance. In order to assess your eligibility for either payment, you need to make an appointment with your local Department of Social Protection so that you can speak with your case officer. Once this appointment has been made, an initial meeting will take place between your local case officer, and it takes about 15 minutes. Given the current times that we're living in, this initial meeting will more than likely take place over the phone. The short-term enterprise allowance scheme. This is the shorter scheme of the two enterprise schemes that are supported by the Department of Social Protection. This scheme is designed for individuals who are more recently unemployed and are looking at moving from their job seekers benefit payment to a short-term enterprise allowance. The scheme is for the duration of your job seekers benefit payment, so it's really important if you are considering self-employment while on the job seekers benefit payment that you move towards having an appointment with your case officer as soon as possible. Further information on all of these schemes can be downloaded from the Citizens Information websites. The Back to Work Enterprise Allowance is a scheme that is of 2 years duration and is for individuals who are moving or seeking to move from a job seeker's allowance payment onto the Back to Work Enterprise Allowance scheme to set up their own business. You must be getting a qualifying payment from DSP for at least 9 months and be eligible for a job seeker's allowance. And the Back to Work Enterprise Allowance lasts for 2 years. During the first year, you will retain 100% of your social welfare payment while generating income from the business. And during the second year of the Back to Work Enterprise Allowance, your social welfare payment or your Back to Work Enterprise Allowance payment will reduce to 75%. This is really important to note, as your business plan will need to show how you will sustain your business and your income long after the Back to Work Enterprise Allowance has ended. And that's it for today. Should you want any further information from us in terms of making an application to the Back to Work Enterprise Allowance or for the short-term enterprise allowance, we would advise that you look to set up that initial meeting with your case officer. You can see here we have included the phone numbers for each of the local social welfare offices. Once you make that initial inquiry, you will more than likely be given an opportunity to have a meeting with your social welfare case officer, and following we will get a letter from social welfare asking us to make contact with you. We will talk more about this again next week. Just before I go, there's a couple of things that I think are really important for you to start thinking about so that you are ready for your meeting with your DSP case officer. What is it? That's your business idea. Have it very clear in your mind what is the business that you want to set up. How do you know that people will want this business or service? Will you be able to make some income for yourself out of the business idea? Can the business operate on a weekly basis, year round? What financial or other supports will you need to make this business a success? And who are your main competitors? You don't have to have all of the answers right now, but it certainly will help you to build a case for your business if you start thinking about these questions from now on. And with that in mind, You can always reach out to us here in Clare Local Development Company. The Social Inclusion and Community Activation team will be happy to help in any way we can with your business startup. We have lots of supports available under the scheme, and we will talk about those next week. But for now, if you've any questions, myself, Aisling de Klerk, Hilary Gleeson and Fiona Cahill all work within the enterprise section of Clare Local Development Company, and we are happy to help talk through any of your queries. Looking forward to hearing from you.